first case that we're going to talk about is Texas v. Johnson. Who all was involved in this case?
The state of Texas and Greg Lee Johnson.
What happened?
Johnson and a crowd of people splashed an American flag with kerosene and set it on fire. Police then arrested Johnson for this action. He was then prosecuted under a Texas law that made it illegal to intentionally or knowingly violate a state or national flag.
Where and when did this occur?
Washington, D.C. on June 21, 1989.
What topic does this case fall under?
Civil rights.
What was the SCOTUS ruling in this case?
The Texas statute was declared unconstitutional.
What were the main arguments of this case?
Political reaction was that the burning of the flag had become a gesture of expressive freedom. Others disagreed and said that the flag was a national symbol of the U.S. and deserved protection from desecration. CFA refuted the idea by saying flag burning is speech rather than conduct. This did not restrict freedom of speech, however, since people could still freely speak or write their views on the government flag.
Why is this a landmark case?
The flag's unique status as a symbol of national unity outweighed symbolic speech, and the government still to this day can lawfully prohibit flag burning.
Greg in the state of Georgia.
What happened?
After the Furman decision, certain states changed their death penalty status to meet the new guidelines. The defendant asked the U.S. Supreme Court to go beyond Furman and call all death penalty to be cruel and unusual. Trial judge advised the jury that death penalty was imposed in aggravating and migrating circumstances. These three scenarios are considered aggravating: committed in the course of committing other capital crimes, committed to facilitate robbery, outrageously humane. The jury found the two of these in the Gregg case, and he was sentenced to death.
Where and when did this happen?
It happened in 1976 at the Georgia State Capitol.
What topic does this case fall under?
Civil liberties.
What was the SCOTUS ruling in this case?
Supreme Court upheld the death penalty as imposed by Georgia.
What were the main arguments?
U.S. Supreme Court stated the execution of Troy Gregg was constitutional because he was tried and sentenced through a formal judicial system.
Why is this a landmark case?
This stated that the death penalty was constitutional and there wasn't an Eighth Amendment violation because they applied death penalty judicious and carefully. The next case that we have is Furman versus Georgia. Who was involved?
William Henry Furman, the state of Georgia, and William Joseph Mick.
What happened?
Furman had broken into the Mick's house carrying a gun. When William Mick saw him, Furman shot him and fled the scene.
Where and when did this incident occur?
In Savannah, Georgia, on August 11, 1996.
What topic does this case fall under?
Civil liberties.
What was the Supreme Court ruling of this case?
Georgia death penalty declared it unconstitutional.
What are the main arguments for this case?
First, as long as Furman had broken into Mick's house illegally, it was irrelevant that his shooting was an accident. And second, shooting caused William Mick's death while Furman was committing a criminal act.
And why is this a landmark case?
This placed strict requirements on death penalty status. The next case is Tinker v. Des Moines. Who is involved in this case?
John P. Tinker, Mary Beth Tinker, Christopher Eckhart in the Des Moines School District.
What happened?
Some adults met at Mr. and Mrs. Eckhart's house to discuss ways to protest against U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War. The Tinker students and Christopher Eckhart were involved and planned to wear black armbands to school. When the school found out, they banned wearing black armbands during the holidays. Aware of this, they wore them anyway, and they were all sent home.
Where and when did this occur?
Des Moines, Iowa in 1968.
What topic does this case fall under?
Civil rights.
What was the ruling of this case?
This struck down the school regulation that resulted in suspension.
What were the main arguments?
Tinkers claimed the school violated their First Amendment right to freedom of expression.
Why is this considered a landmark case?
This deals with the rights of public schools students in the marketplace of ideas.
The last case we're going to talk about is Kentucky versus Padilla. Who all was involved?
Jose Padilla and the Commonwealth of Kentucky.
What happened?
Padilla was arrested and charged with more than 5 pounds of marijuana. He was charged with 3 additional violations, but under the state law, his drug trafficking violation alone was considered a felony, punishable by 5 to 10 years in prison. Padilla claimed his counsel never informed him of the deportation clause associated with a drug felony. He said in violation of the Sixth Amendment, he was denied effective assistance of counsel.
Where and when did this happen?
2010 in Kentucky.
What topic does this case fall under?
Civil rights.
What was the ruling of this case?
His attorney should have informed him that pleading guilty carried the risk of deportation.
What were the main arguments for this case?
Court held that an ineffective assistance of counsel claim under the Sixth Amendment based on the attorney's failure to inform Padilla.
Why is this a landmark case?
Criminal lawyers must, under the Sixth Amendment, inform their clients if a guilty plea carries with a risk of deportation.